Hi guys! I know I've promised to do a video for like 5 months. I think the last one I did was in January. I'm so sorry. Um, Moving takes up a lot of time. Did you guys know moving takes up like your entire life? Well, I found out. So I'm finally doing a video. And I'd had like this list of all of these things that I was gonna talk about before, and then I forgot what I wanted to talk about. Like it was in like chronological order of like this came up, then this came up, and that's yeah, I forgot. Um, but I've been seeing some stuff going around, especially on Twitter, of a lot of people feeling like imposters and like the imposter syndrome, and that kind of really hit home for me because I just submitted a project that the entire time I was like, I'm not qualified for this at all. And yet I was doing it. So it was a very weird feeling of like, I'm doing something that a lot of people would be like, you should never be doing this thing, or you're not allowed to. But then I was like, well, okay, because I do this thing where I think that I know the definition of something, but it's actually been like kind of distilled and like it's not really that true definition. So I took notes on my phone, but I looked up what imposter syndrome really means because it's one of those buzzwords that people use all the time that it might not actually mean whatever. I don't think that word means what you think it means, to quote The Princess Bride. So it's actually like a doubting of your accomplishment. Like you've earned something, but you doubt that what you've done really matters, and that it's a persistent fear of being exposed as a fraud by other people. So it's like almost an obsessive thought process, and it deals a lot with anxiety and depression and OCD and that kind of thing, where people are convinced that other people are going to find out that they somehow they don't know what they're talking about, they haven't earned whatever it is that they've earned, and that it's constant. And there's a the, there's a lot of traffic on my street, so if you hear honking or people talking, it's because I live directly across the street from a school now. Um, but there's like this line between, so there's imposter syndrome, and then there's also this group of people who feel like they're being bad adults, which is also me. So there's the imposter syndrome people, and they, I'm not saying that they're completely separate, they do dovetail, but there's a lot of like people who just feel like they're bad adults who then feel like they're also imposters, and how they're both kind of the same and different at the same time. They're the same and different, and I'm going to talk about it. And apparently I'm just going to gesticulate a lot. I've had a lot of coffee and I'm having more coffee, so it wouldn't be coffee with Lauren if Lauren wasn't having coffee. But so imposter syndrome is that you have actually earned, like, you know what you're talking about, you've earned your accolades, you either have a degree in something or you've studied it for so long that you might as well have a degree in it, you have been working in a field for so long, like you have the knowledge, and then people start to recognize that you have this knowledge, and you kind of have this like constant persistent fear that it's all luck, it has nothing to do with your own brain, that you didn't actually do the thing, and that someday somebody is going to storm into your office or your home or find you on social media and be like, you don't deserve any reward, you don't deserve any special treatment, you did not do this, you're a fraud, even though that's not true. And so it's that kind of obsessive, like, somebody's going to find out I don't know what I'm talking about. And the hilarious thing is like, on one hand, that's a very scary thing. And that's not hilarious. The scary part's not hilarious. But like, it's scary in that you're constantly like, what, I'm not good enough. And there's like that perfectionist element to it. Like, you have to be good enough. You have to be the best. You have to be the best. But then there's also the hilarious part of like, nobody knows what they're talking about at any point in time. I don't know what I'm doing. Somebody asked me, I have a really dear friend who is kind of like asking me writing questions in preparation to hopefully write a blog post article as like an interview with me. And she keeps asking me questions, and it's that kind of like, I know what I'm doing, but I don't know it all. Like, I've never known what I'm doing. Listen, I dropped out of college, okay? So for one, like, I didn't earn a degree. I don't have a sheet of paper on my wall that says I know what I'm talking about. I don't. I just kept doing it until people were like, hey, that doesn't suck. That's how I managed to get from point A to point B, is I just kept going and kept doing it in hopes that it didn't suck. And that's kind of where, so there's the imposter syndrome of like, and yeah, I do have moments where I'm waiting for somebody to be like, you don't deserve readers, you don't deserve to have a good career, you don't, because I didn't go to college, or because I went, but I dropped out. So it's like, no, I don't have a college degree. I don't have a sheet of paper or a designated thing that says, hey, you earned the right to be able to do X, Y, and Z. I don't have that. I just did it. And nobody stopped me. Which I guess is kind of how most things get done. And we're done for a very long time. Like the first idea that popped in my head was imperialism, and that's not a good example. So I'm not going to say that I'm imperialistic. I've had too much coffee. This is ridiculous. But I don't, yeah. So like somebody could legitimately be like, you haven't earned your right to say these things. Okay. But on the other hand, I've been doing the thing for so long, and the thing being writing, been doing that for so long that on some level, yes, I have. I have earned the right to say, well, this is what works for me. I am a writer. I am an author. I did do this. But then it bleeds into the I'm a bad adult feeling. And that is the I'm not good enough. I'm not doing what I should. And you're seeing other people like basically just blowing it out of the water. You see other people with like great, if you're, I don't know, in my case, I see other people and it's like they're married, they have kids, they have, healthy pet. Well, my pet is extremely healthy. But, they have like this glowy auto-tune image that is and you're kind of like, I didn't put on pants until noon today. It's that feeling of like, I didn't do well, or I'm not doing well, or I'm constantly struggling. But the thing is like, everybody is constantly struggling. Everybody is constantly struggling, and nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about. Everyone is always unsure. Anytime somebody starts talking, halfway through their own sentence, they're going to be like, I don't even know if what I'm saying is real, but I'm going to finish my sentence. And that's how all people are. And it's kind of funny to watch people being like, oh, I'm not doing so well. And it's like, why don't you think you're doing well? It's like, because I don't have these like mile markers, arbitrary mile markers that say that you're doing well in life. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Nobody knows what they're talking about, and nobody knows what they're doing. So really, we're all imposters. We're all faking it. The like motto I had in high school was fake it till you make it, because I did not have confidence. I did not feel good about myself. I was terrified 99.9% of the time, because life is awful and being 15 sucks. So I was just faking it. People were like, oh, you're always so confident. No, in my head, I'm screaming, but I'm smiling while I'm doing it. And that's why everybody thinks I have confidence. It's because shoulders back, head held high, internally, you're freaking the fuck out. That's how it goes. So we have to kind of stop feeling like our best isn't good enough. If it's your best, then it is good enough. My best looks different than other people's best, and that's actually kind of the whole point. Like, we shouldn't all be the same, and we shouldn't all feel like we have to have the same life as everybody else because none of it matters. And what makes it good for you might not make it good for other people. The life that I have might drive other people nuts. Other people's lives might make me want to put my head in a blender. So there's all of these, things that we attribute to a good life that really aren't the same thing. It's not something we should be worrying about. But in terms of writing, like going back to, so I submitted a script for a contest two days ago. Yes, time is an illusion. And as soon as I hit submit, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't, like I hit submit and just went, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? And immediately, and the entire time I was writing it, I don't write scripts on a normal basis. Like on a regular basis, I write novels. I write prose. I didn't go to film school. Again, didn't even finish college. So I'm writing it. I'm teaching myself as I'm writing it. I'm like texting friends like, is this a thing? I'm worried. Help me. I'm just like freaking out. Like somebody please. And the thing is like, that's how you learn how to do something, is by freaking out while you're doing it. Hopefully not with other professions like being a doctor or a nuclear physicist, but in most things, it's a very sink or swim situation. You are allowed to kind of just throw yourself into something and do it and not really know everything about doing it. And I think Amy Poehler had a quote of like, if you wait until you're ready to do things, you'll never do anything. So I think part of the imposter syndrome that I've been seeing people say that they're suffering from is that they're just doing things before they feel ready. And that's how you get further in life. That's how you get further in life, is if you say, you know what, I want to try this. I don't know if I'm ready, but I'm going to try it anyway. That's how you get places. If you constantly were waiting, I mean, I legitimately thought about not submitting the script because I'm like, I didn't go to film school. It's an idea. I don't even know if the idea is any good because I've only had like 3 people look at it and they're my friends, so they might always be nice to me. But there were so many things that made me go, maybe I should wait. I'm not ready. I should learn. And I kept like trying to talk myself out of submitting. I was even trying to talk myself out of writing the damn thing. I was trying to talk myself out of, no, Lauren, you shouldn't write that yet because you haven't gone to film school. You haven't read every book on script writing yet. You haven't interned anywhere. There were just so many thoughts in my head of why I shouldn't do it as I was already doing it. So like, I would say about 4 times during the process. And by the way, I learned about the contest 28 days before the deadline. So I had 28 days to figure my shit out. And I was freaking out. Like, no, I don't. No. 28 days. That was another thing. I was like texting my friend Katie, like, can I do this in like 28 days? What the fuck? She was very kind and said, yes, you can. But so there's the freakouts while you're doing it. In my opinion, as scary as it was also a huge sign of like, oh, that means I should be doing it. If it's terrifying me, that means I should do it. Which I'm sure a lot of people don't live their life like, what's going to terrify me today? Well, that was one of them. Learning how to write a script as I'm writing it. And I felt like I lived with that script style manual just glued to my face, like half of my face. I would sleep with it, like hoping to learn through osmosis. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Please teach me. That's part of it, is that you're learning as you go. And that's all of life. But especially in creative fields, people tend to get really worried that because they haven't studied under the greats, that they're not somehow ready to tell their own story. But you are. You're perfectly qualified to tell your own story because you're you. If you were trying to tell somebody else's story, maybe not. Maybe you'd have to do something different. But that doesn't mean you're not qualified to try. And even if you do fail, it means you took a step to do it. You know, in my opinion, the only real failure is not trying at all. And there are so many things in life that I haven't done because I was too afraid, and now I try not to live through those cycles again. There was so much I was like, well, I'm too scared. I'm not going to do it because I'm scared, or I'm not going to do it because it feels like I don't belong in that group. There, and now looking back on it, I'm like, what a stupid fucking thing to do, to limit myself simply because I was afraid, or simply because I felt like I didn't fit in, or that I wasn't ready. That's dumb. That's so dumb. So now I'm like looking back going, past Lauren, what did you do? So now from this point, I can look and say, okay, well, future Lauren is going to do things. And future Lauren is going to be terrified the entire time she's doing it. But that's okay. I'd rather be scared and doing something than bored and sitting at home doing absolutely nothing. Because life is too short. And yeah, it's okay to feel like an imposter. It's okay to feel like you don't know what you're doing and that somebody's going to storm into your house and be like, how dare you? But also, if you have actually done the work, like you have the receipts, like you can show people, like, I did this. This is all mine. I'm perfectly qualified in however ways, in whatever ways and however you want to frame that. If you feel like you've done something, you did. Nobody's going to take that away from you. If you wrote a story, if you wrote a novel, if you wrote a script, if you wrote anything, you did that. You didn't plagiarize anybody. you didn't plagiarize anybody. You didn't steal anybody's stuff. If you put in the effort, that's what makes you qualified. And I hate seeing, it makes me sad. I see so many people feeling like it's like a double-edged sword where people are like, that they're using on themselves. Like they're cutting themselves on the level of, I didn't earn this. And then they're cutting themselves on the level of, I'm not good enough and I'm failing somehow because I haven't reached this arbitrary goal that other people seem to have reached. Seriously, you guys, love yourselves through this. Like you're doing great. I feel like I'm that meme. Like, you're doing great, sweetie. Keep going. That's me all the time. And I really do feel like if you are doing your absolute best, that's all that matters. And that's all that anybody can ask of you. That's all I would ever ask of you. That's all I'd ever ask of myself. And you're not an imposter in your own life. You're just you, and you're doing your best. And I'm proud of you. And I'm kind of proud of myself for doing something that terrified me. I had like stress dreams. I was like freaking out. Like I would leave my house after like a solid 5 days of not leaving my house to go get groceries or to meet up with friends. And I just sit there and be like, right, the real world is a thing. Like I was so secluded. Like that script was my life for a full month. And then I hit the submit button. And I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where it's going to go. But it doesn't matter. Because at least I tried. And at least I did that one thing. It could get feedback of, man, we would like you to turn in your script writing software. We feel like for the betterment of the community, you should not be doing that. Stick to what you're good at. Or it could be better than that. Who knows? It's not in my hands anymore. But I did the best that I could. And yeah, somebody might say, you didn't go to film school. How dare you? Well, shit, I already did it, so whatever. You're not an imposter. I'm not an imposter. We earned where we got. We earned the places in life that we've gotten to so far. Simply by being and simply by trying. I wish that was more eloquent, but oh well. I'm really glad that I'm moved in and a little bit more settled, and I can hopefully be doing more videos on a more consistent basis instead of every 5 months, because that's a little stupid. Um, but I hope that on some level this works for you guys. I hope it makes sense. It was a little rambly, but I hope my main points got across. You are not an imposter. You are doing the best that you can, and that's all that matters. And I can't wait to see what creative project you're working on. And if you are working on something and you want me to see it, show me. I think that pointing motion is supposed to mean like in the comments or whatever. You can find me online. I'm everywhere. So please find me and let me know if you've written something or if you've done something, made something, you're going to be in something, you graduated, you didn't graduate, you made a decision, you bought groceries, I don't care. Tell me whatever accomplishment that you've made that you're proud of. Tell me. I want to know your accomplishments. I want to know what you're proud of in your life. And I'm excited. Yeah, tell me everything. And I'm going to finish this last cup of coffee and hopefully my heart won't explode. Bye guys, love you.